So I wanted to ask you before we get into more drug stuff. So Bostin every so often has things that are bugging him about the bodybuilding industry. Before I ask you about some things I was going to ask you about, is there something on your mind? Because I've noticed that you've not been making many Instagram posts.
Well, no, man. Like I stopped doing that because I get so invested in that. Like I get so invested that it takes away from. Like, I make one post, there'll be like 200 or 300 comments, and I'll be going back and forth with idiots, and it just takes away time from my clients, from Ariella, from my son. So I try not to, but I saw a thing yesterday that really pissed me out, or 2 days ago, and somebody was, dude, multiple people were sharing this to me. Somebody on the story on Instagram asked Dusty Hanshaw. You know who Dusty Hanshaw is?
No.
Dusty Hanshaw, he's like Dante Trudell's. He's like his right underneath him. Like they used to be like Dusty Hanshaw is a pro bodybuilder. I don't know how he turned pro. He looks terrible, but anyways, they asked him what's the most milligrams he's ever taken in a week.
What is it?
And he said 1,900 total. Dude, his mentor, Dante Trudell, used to advise 2+ grams of testosterone a week. Yes. So I know that's bullshit. And he was like, that was with pre-contest with like 4 drugs. And I'm like, dude, in pre-contest, you took more than 4 different drugs. Dude, these guys are such liars. Like that kind of shit pisses me off.
So I noticed that a lot recently. A lot of people like to downplay,
yes.
Even though it's open, it's out in the open. Why do you cut your milligrams in half? Why are you telling? You're not saving anyone anything. They're just trying to look like they have better genetics than they do have.
Yes. That's my pet peeve. It's like they know they can't claim natural because we would be like, but they can get away with saying, I only take this much. And dude, that's a pet peeve of mine because Dusty, I call him Dusty Handjob because he's a fucking idiot. But he did it the other day, like 1,900 middles total in a prep, dude. That's for a pro. And dude, I swear to God, like I know who, like maybe that was his fucking, cycle for his last show when he looked like shit. Maybe he did run that much, but it's the thing is somebody asked him, what's the most you've ever ran? Don't just tell them the last year or so. Tell them when you put on 30 pounds of muscle that 1 year when you work with, fucking, what's his name? Dante Trudell, whatever, with 2 grams of test with Steve Kuklo and Justin Harris. Be honest about it, man. Be honest about it,
Well, the thing is, okay, this is not – so Lee Priest, he often get asked this question, and he says something like use 600 milligrams of Deca and 200 milligrams of something else. But I like Lee Priest, so I'm not bashing him at all because he's very honest otherwise.
Yeah.
Which I don't understand because maybe it's true that he only used – it's not – it can't be. Okay, well, let me tell you why it can't be true. Because if somebody's using 800 milligrams total, if they use 1.2, they will look better. Now, maybe if you're using 3,000, if you're using 3 grams, you might not look better if you use 5 grams. But if you're using 1 gram, you'll look better at 1.5 grams. There's no question about it. You'll grow bigger. Yeah, you'll grow bigger.
Yeah.
So it's not people who are using less than.
But then again, bigger is not always better. See, the thing with Lee Priest is I used to think he was lying, right? And then I thought about it. He's literally 5'1", and
it's possible. You think?
He's not claiming natural, and he's like, I tried growth hormone once and all this shit. And dude, his genetics, even when he was natural as in like a fucking 14-year-old or 12-year-old kid he's been training, I do believe him because, dude, he's so honest with everything else that I would give him the benefit of the doubt. I would. And don't get me wrong, dude, if he was taking more, I think it was him not knowing how much he was taking. Do you see what I'm saying? Like him being a dumb bodybuilder and listening to advice of like, hey, take 2 cc's of this, 2 cc's of this, and he just thought he was taking less. You know what I mean?
I mean,
hey, I tell you what, Mike O'Hearn is the worst.
Oh, today actually, Generation Iron made a video with. You saw it?
No, I didn't see it. It's called Natty or Not.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I was going to ask you about this Natty or Not thing too, but there's this video with Kevin Levrone. Kevin Levrone is saying that he believes that Mike O'Hearn is natural because his weight didn't fluctuate much. But the problem is, if Mike O'Hearn is natural, then if he took steroids, he's Mr. Olympia. That's it. Because nobody is.
Dude, and trust me, if you were that good natural, you would definitely be like, how good can I get? You would definitely be like, how good could I get?
You'd be like, I could definitely win.
The reason that we know he's not natural, though, is because he hasn't deteriorated at 50.
That's also, people have done analysis, though. They've shown between 30 and 50, he got a little bit better. So
yeah, there's no fucking way, dude.
And he's training since he's 14, so it's not like...
Dude, I do think he probably runs his cycles very smart. You know what I mean?
And very consistently.
Yeah. Very low dose and just always on a little bit of test and some growth or something. Not like up in balloon weight.
You know who's actually also a little bit like this? And I admire he's very successful on YouTube, and I think he knows what he's doing, and I don't think he's like... But the point is, Greg Doucette says he uses 140 milligrams of testosterone. But the thing is, if you look at the videos... 140 milligrams means you're basically natural, right? So even Kevin Levrone, when he goes to 140 milligrams, he looks like he looks normal. Yeah. But I don't know if you've seen Greg recently, but I'm sure he's on anti-estrogen or something like that. But the guy he's almost how he looks on stage.
Very vascular and hard, yeah.
Yeah, and he has all his striations and he moves around. It's just not possible, because if that was the case, then when you use much more, you'd be massive.
Exactly. So they like to down, and it kind of bites them in the ass, like you said, because you're like, wait, this is you on TRT, but you don't get that much better when you're on a full-blown cycle. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And dude, people and they kind of bite themselves in the own ass. But dude, that TRT shit went viral and rampant with, and before RIP, but before Matt Porter died, when he said TRT and 35 or 37.5 mg Anavar a day, and then people started saying, oh shit, he's getting a lot of people that are, following him now and stuff like that. But dude, those half-truths are worse than just straight out lying to me.
That's interesting. I didn't realize it may have started then. Yeah, that's true. Because he was talking about how he was using a little bit of gear and he was maintaining his size, when in reality it was much bigger than.
It's crazy that all the people that I know you like, this is fine, but it's like almost a self-conscious thing. The guys that always preach health and talk about health are always the ones with like health issues and like shit happening to them. And I think it's because they stress out so much. Like they're stressing about it so much that they're like stressing their body. You know how like, it's like almost like you think about something and it happens. You know what I mean? It's like it's constantly on their mind that they're like unhealthy and like they're constantly worried and they're stressing themselves out and they're always fucking themselves up, man.
Well, definitely there's something like that. When you're stressed out, your inflammatory cytokines increase in your body, and that's what causes a lot of plaque development.
Our mental mind state is everything. Like whether you're training for a show, getting ready for a triathlon, doing a MMA, like your mental state on how you're positive or how you're negative, how you're stressed out, it plays a big role for sure.
You know what's funny about this natty or not stuff is that you were sort of the first person on YouTube that was talking about steroids openly. And since then, there's been a bunch of people that make these natty or not videos and develop huge channels just on judging like random people, celebrities and stuff, natty or not. You should be doing this. If anyone should be doing this, it's you, to be honest.
Only if I had enough time, energy, and care. I don't really. Yeah.
Nobody actually cares if there's not bodybuilders. These are like random people, like cyclists and actors. But people love to watch this. I think it's like young teenagers that have never used steroids. They want to know if they don't know exactly what steroids do. But the real solution to this is to try it yourself, and you'll be able to sort of notice. Obviously, some people's genetics are different than other people.
Yeah.
Which brings me to a point. I noticed in a discussion you were having with Dave, you were mentioning that when you take growth hormone, your IGF-1 doesn't go up that much.
None.
The wife's does.
Who does? Oh, yeah, dude. Ariel on the same growth hormone, taking like 2 IUs. She's in like the 395.
So this is really interesting. So I wanted to let you know something. So I took a lot of growth hormone before. I've tried every dose of every kind a little bit. I didn't get much out of it. But then I started studying genetics and stuff, and I found out that I have a very odd gene at the IGF-1 receptor. My IGF-1 receptor does not receive IGF-1 easily. So even if I produce IGF-1, which in your case, it could be a growth hormone receptor issue because it's downstream. But the point is, your IGF-1 receptors may be, or your growth hormone receptors may be not as receptive to the drug.
Well, it converts in the liver, right? So
well, it could also be the liver. Yeah.
No, dude, I think you're right, dude. I think there's something there. But the thing is as long as you're getting some effects from it, like if I took a blood serum HGH test, like if I took a shot and then went to test 4 hours later on an HGH serum, it shows that my growth hormone levels were through the roof.
Yeah, now, then you have growth hormone, but it's not going to IGF-1.
But it's not converting to IGF, correct?
So that could be the growth hormone receptor, actually, not the IGF-1 receptor.
And who knows? Who knows if having that high IGF is needed? Like, am I just wasting fucking money on all this growth hormone? Or am I getting the effects without the side effects?
Yeah, that could be true. Well, you're definitely getting the fat loss from the growth hormone because that's from the...
It has to be, dude. Like, I have to be. Because before I started growth hormone, I was a way pudgier kid. Like, I couldn't get away with the food I ate. You know what I mean? So even though my IGF is low, and it could be because blood work too. Because dude, it's crazy. Like, I heard that like your vitamin D levels make an impact on it. Like your estrogen, if it's too high or too low, it could affect your IGF. There's so many factors, so who knows? Oh, I heard if your liver is stressed too, that your IGF will suck too.
That's true. But the good thing is that the IGF is the main part that impacts the insulin sensitivity. So you're probably going to get less insulin resistant because you're converting less of, or not converting, but you're causing less IGF.
Yeah, my glucose is always really good, man. Like on or off insulin. Last time I did it fasted, it was like 79.
Really? Wow.
Yeah,
that's a great sign.
So when I get my blood drawn, like for blood work, it's always like 79 to like it's like 75 to 82.
That's really good.
Yeah.
That's probably because
and that's after a growth hormone shot.
Well, it could temporarily lower, but generally that's really incredible.
Yeah.
Mine was way higher than that when I was bigger.